Coming out to the August meeting of the Board of Supervisors, we do have a quorum, all in attendance. Everybody join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Morris?
Bow our heads. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for Team Amelia. Thank you for all who make up this team. Thank you for this nice weather. Thank you for all who are here tonight. Thank you for all the many, many blessings that you are constantly pouring over us, both big and small. Lord, help us to look past all the bad things in our lives and appreciate those blessings poured on us. Lord, I lift up each and every one of those prayer requests that are in this room or watching tonight, that they may be answered according to your will. Lord, I pray over this meeting this evening. Help us to not only seek your will, but the county's will as well. Help us to achieve this through wisdom, peace, and good discussion, and that the end results will be that what is best for your people in this county. Lord, I ask for your watch care and protection over our families and for traveling mercies as we head home after this meeting tonight. I ask in his holy precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Yeah, it has been a break in the heat, so that's been welcome. All right, well, let's get started. Does anybody have any amendments to the agenda presented? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Motion on the floor to approve the agenda as permitted. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to our consent agenda. You have the minutes and you have a special event permit for Fright Fest. I will make a comment that it was a change in the minutes on a vote that we took last month, that was unanimous. I haven't seen it in writing. Paul, do you have any further?
Yes, we just need to clarify under old business, section A, the discussion about the approval for the emergency management appropriation request. It states that Mr. Robinson made the motion, but we just need to clarify that it was approved unanimously. There's no indication on whether the motion was approved or not approved.
Yep. Okay.
So I'd like to have that amended and added to the minutes.
All right. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Definitely.
All right. Can I get a motion to?
I have another question. This next one, I thought that was, didn't fall under consent because it was multiple days and more than 500 people.
Anything can.
Is it? Okay. I thought we had changed that a while back, but I guess we didn't.
It just has to come to us because of that criteria, but it can still go into consent.
Okay.
I think that's where permits land. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, while we're on that, I do have a question.
Okay.
On the application, it said no deputy on the 30th. That kind of bothers me. And I also had a question on, this is a totally different thing. It's in the dark and it's at night. I don't know what the rules are for how many deputies per whatever. I was just curious about the safety being at majority in the dark and the activities going there, if it levied having more security than just a deputy.
The sheriff signed off on it.
So,
And I'm assuming he read it and he's fine with it. And that's all I can tell you.
so I guess in that, my concern is the no deputy on the 30th.
Okay. We can note that in the minutes that you had a concern about that.
I know it's a good thing and they bring lots of people in. It's good for the county. I'm not trying to stop it. It just, that was a concern to me.
We can get an answer from the sheriff. Just make sure we get you answered. You go with that? All right. What's the board's pleasure on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve it with the amendment as stated to the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Easton. Motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda with the addition to the minutes. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. All right, that brings us to the public comment. This time anybody can talk about anything that's really not on the agenda. Folks, we have 3 public hearings tonight. If your comments go to one of those public hearings, please hold until we get to those. But anything else anybody would like to talk about, please come up to the mic, state your name and address. Let's try to keep it to 3 minutes or so. Nobody don't have any words of wisdom for us tonight? Come on, Bobby, you gotta have something.
Where's Martin?
All right, we'll close the public comments. Brings us to our regular staff reports, VDOT.
Evening. To provide an update on our maintenance area headquarters activities, they started their 3rd round of primary mowing last week. They completed mowing on 38 and then started on Route 360 this week. They started the median, haven't done the shoulders yet. They're also performing spot asphalt patching in advance of our surface treatment contractors. Conducted an asphalt dig out on Mill Quarter Road, and then our secondary mowing contractor finished their 2nd round of secondary mowing, and that was done on August 12th. Also, one item that did not make it in my report is that we've been assisting our district bridge partners at Namazine Road with some road closures for geotechnical activities. That project, that bridge has been identified for a replacement a couple years from now. We're currently in early design, and so the work that's happening there is just some preliminary geotech work so that they can start their design of that bridge. For traffic studies and special requests, we've got several underway with traffic engineering that we haven't received an update on, including 609 related to truck traffic and potential needs for signage, Church Street at the post office for a crosswalk study. And a new one this month is South Amelia Avenue, Route 656. We're conducting a speed study at that location. I think that was a citizen request that came in from one of you. I can't recall. And then for construction, I mentioned surface treatment. Those operations did begin this week in Amelia. And the contractor had 1 route to complete in Powhatan last week, and then they'll be in Amelia for the remainder of their schedule. They did indicate that they'll have loose gravel signs placed at all roads to alert the public of that chance, and that those signs will remain in place at each route until the contractor comes back to sweep the excess stone at those locations. Also, the first phase of the Amelia sidewalk project kicked off last week. The contractor has done some excavation work out there, as you'll see in front of the schools. And they're scheduled for 2 concrete pours this week. I don't think they've occurred yet. It might be tomorrow and Friday. And that contract has a fixed completion date of January 2026. So they'll definitely be done by that date. And then wanted to provide an update on phase 2, Amelia sidewalks project as well. So that project design work has begun, and our project manager has received the preliminary plans and an updated estimate earlier this summer. They're currently working to schedule a public hearing for that project on October 21st. And we'll have that advertised in advance, let you all know of the schedule of that. I did want you to be aware that the project is based on the plans and updated estimate. The project is currently carrying a deficit of approximately $300,000. And we are in coordination with our local assistance division, who provided the transportation alternatives funding that this project is funded with. to give us an answer on availability of additional TAP funding to cover that deficit. It won't hold up our project schedule for now. We're still advancing to the public hearing. And the next point that we would definitely need to know that we had that funding in place is for right-of-way acquisition. And that should occur in the next couple of months. So we'll know in a couple of months what the answer is to that additional funding. But it is current, it's $294,000 is the current deficit on that project.
Does it look promising that we'll find some funding?
They didn't guarantee anything, but our programming folks made a good case for why the estimate had increased. Mainly, it's just construction bid items have outpaced inflation from when that estimate was created, when you all initially applied for the project. So it wasn't one single item that made the estimate increase by that much. But they felt like at right-of-way authorization would be an appropriate time for us to consider that. So,
Okay.
yeah. And I think those are all the updates I have, unless you all have questions for me.
I want to thank you for fixing the intersection at the high school. It's much, much, much nicer.
Yes, sir. We need to do some pavement markings there. They haven't gotten those back yet, but
Great
that'll be
improvement.
scheduled.
And the one in town, right there in front of the stable.
Right.
All right.
I still don't complain about Bevel's Bridge and 153 and 38.
Right, yeah, so we're of course aware of the fatality that occurred there week before last, I believe. And I told Mr. Phelps in an email this week, but just so everyone knows, it is standard practice for VDOT anytime that there's a fatal crash on a VDOT maintained roadway that we do a full review of that crash in the intersection or roadway location. So traffic engineering will be doing that, and they'll provide me with any recommendations they have for any additional improvements at the intersection.
LED signs can't cost that much.
Then they'll consider that. We did do a review in May of last year, 2024, and implemented signage and striping changes a month later in June, I think. So I think that will factor into their decision-making that we just made improvements a year ago. And then this
We need
still
to-
occurred, so.
Yeah, we need something that gets their attention. I still think it's phones distracted, but something. I mean, I meant to take a picture. I was somewhere last week working, and I mean, this was in the middle of nowhere, and they had a nice LED flashing stop sign. Great big old sign, and it does get your attention.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so we usually, there's generally a little bit of delay from when we get the report from DMV, but as soon as they get it from DMV, they'll start that fatal crash review
Thank you.
at that intersection. Mhm.
Maybe it's time for a roundabout.
Somebody called me about that. Stop. No,
Very popular in some of my other localities.
Chesterfield loves them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank
I
you.
hate to see a tractor trailer 55 mile an hour going around the roundabout.
It'll be something.
It'd be good.
Thank you.
Dr. Harper, Mr. Trump.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Pollitt. Our new teachers and staff started work on Monday, July 28th, and returning teachers and staff started on August 1st. We'd like to thank Mr. Easter for providing greetings at convocation on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and we'd also like to thank Mr. Morris for attending. Our first day of school was Tuesday, August 12th. CIP paving projects were completed just in time for the opening. Our next community roundtable meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 18th at 1:30 p.m. at the school board office. The focus of this session will be on volunteerism, mentoring, and internships. Obviously, you have your financial reports, and Mr. Trump is here to share that information.
Good evening. I'm here to share with you this evening the finance reports for post-year FY25 as well as July FY26. As a reminder, post-year is the designation we use to report expenditures and revenues that occur after July 1st that will accrue back to the previous fiscal year. That's why we have two sets of reports in your book for this evening. As of July 31st, FY 25 expenditures and revenues stand at 95.4% of the budget appropriations. While the vast majority of expenditures for FY 25 are completed this time, some remain to be processed, will be reflected in final reports to county finance and auditors. For instance, inventorying textbooks that come in right over in the last minute over the summer can take some time. We generally want to make sure we've received everything that's in those orders before we issue payment. So those are being processed, I believe, this week. On the revenue side, grant reimbursement revenue and sales tax revenue collected through August will continue to accrue back to FY 25 as well. For July FY 26 expenditures and revenues, to be meeting our goals, revenue and expenditure should be at about 4.5%, and we are well below that figure at 2.93%. You'll note a bit of an anomaly on this month's report, as the revenues less expenditures figure at the bottom of the sheet is not zero as it usually is in most months. In most reports, this figure, which on our end is a projection of how things will shake out, is zero because the county's practice of transferring funds to the school division is to align the monthly transfer with the gap between expenditures and all of the revenues. For example, if we spend $1 million in the operating funds and brought in $700,000 of state revenue, the county transfer would just be $300,000 to close that. However, as many expenditures in July accrue back to the previous fiscal year, at times we can have more revenue than expenditures at this point in a new fiscal year. Doesn't happen very often. This is one of the years where it has. Just want to point that out. It looks a little bit different than usual. In the textbook fund, expenditures are at 5.38% for FY 25 and 0% for FY 26. For funds 4 and 5 for all in construction are at 66.62% and 4.11% respectively for FY 25, and do not have reported expenditures or revenues at this time, as those funds have not yet been carried forward, as you know from one of the action items we have for your request later this evening. And in the cafeteria fund, expenditures are at 65.24% for FY 25 and 0% for FY 26, as all payments issued in the month of July have accrued back to FY 25. Don't have any more information on finance report, but we do have 2 items for discussion and consideration this evening, if you'd like me to proceed.
Yes, sir.
So I believe the first item there is the carry forward appropriation for the all-in state funding and state construction funds carry forward. This evening, we have an appropriation request to carry forward remaining state funds from recent one-time initiatives. As of the end of FY 25, remaining all-in funds totaled $192,013.22. We are requesting these funds be carried forward to support the continuation of tutoring services for students at the elementary and middle schools. And as of the end of FY 25, remaining state construction funds totaled $1,197,469.50. We are requesting that these funds be carried forward as well to support future projects in alignment with the laws appropriating these funds. The state budget language for each of these items state that these funds are to be reappropriated for their initial purposes until expended. And while there is not a required expenditure date for the state construction funds, all in funds are required to be expended by June 30th, 2026. No local match is required to carry forward either of these fund balances.
Okay. Board members have any questions? What's the board's pleasure on the carry forwards?
Make a motion to approve the carry forward of the state funds for all in of $192,013.22 and construction funds of $1,197,469.50 as stated, all state funds and no county funds or match.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Easter. Motion on the floor to approve the appropriations for the state and federal carryovers. I'm not gonna repeat the numbers. Mr. Easter did in his motion. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. I do have a question for Dr. Harper. What was your attendance like this year? You didn't get you?
Where we are with enrollment?
Yes.
We're at 1505 today.
Okay,
That does not include pre-K of about 60 students.
okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Not gonna get by that easy. What about the HVAC? The problem with the HVAC, what's been the
So the particular unit affects 9 classrooms and the office. It has 3 compressors. 2 of those 3 compressors are what died. There's been a temporary fix of a temporary compressor that's not designed for that unit, but it has been placed there as we're awaiting delivery of 2 new compressors to go in that HVAC system. Those have to be built, and that's why it's a 5 to 6 week delay for those. In the meantime, we moved students to classrooms that were air conditioned for about 2 days, 3 days. Now the temporary fix is holding, so our students are back in their original classrooms. But if we were to lose the temporary fix, we already have the plan of where we would move those classes while we wait for that part. I do believe this unit is on the CIP, or that's coming up. So it is quite an old unit.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Do we have the budget resolution on next on the agenda, or is that something you'd like to address later?
It's been included in the packet.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that the resolution for the carryover funds?
Yes, for the remaining state funds.
Yes, it is here. It's not all here online. Yes,
What's this?
I don't have where we sign it. All I have is the first.
Oh, you want the signature part. Oh,
Is
okay.
that all of it? I mean,
That might be a formatting error on my part. That is intended to be the end of it.
okay, okay.
You could just sign, yeah.
So.
We need action on the resolution? We approve?
You guys need action on this, correct?
Well, this was part of just a new closeout process for us this year, because I know we're working through the audit, and carryover has been a different discussion in the past. It was just something we were asking for this resolution to guide us in the process, so we know that counties committed to saying, yes, the local funds will be accounted for and spent, and state funds will be reappropriated to the school division.
And this is just state direct, the resolution is just stating for state direct funds, right?
Correct. This would be just,
It's state direct funds
Yeah.
other than other than the 2 categories that we just approved in the other resolution, correct?
yes, this is specifically all those remaining state balances that are in our regular operating budget.
Yeah.
Because of the required local match. In previous years, we've been funded above that required local match. So when we haven't spent it, the difference has been county funds. State funds have gone out the door. This is just stating that, yes, the county is funding the required local match in full, so state funds can be kept and carried forward. We don't have a figure on that set because that would depend on the audit, but it's more just giving our county administrator authorization to move those funds forward when we have that total figure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with it. The resolution is very clear that it's state direct funds, and it's very clear also that the required local effort and required local match have already been met. So it's in essence the same thing we just approved for the other. It's just a different category of funds, as you said. You just don't have the exact amount yet because you're waiting for the audit. But it lets you move forward and lets you work directly with the county administrator, which is easier for everybody.
Well, especially in questions of ADM, one of the stated reasons for this from the state specifically is that in years of a enrollment shortfall, having those state funds available to soften that blow and have us not have to come back to the county and say we need more of a local appropriation is a definite use of those funds in the future.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
I'll just I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as presented to carry forward the remaining state direct aid funds, and as it clarifies, no additional local effort or local funding required.
Okay. Motion on floor to approve the resolution with carry forward the state funds. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried.
Gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, was the animal control going to speak tonight, or was that just for your information?
That's just FYI since they, it was not included in last month's quarterly report.
Okay. All right, it brings us to the radio project.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Pilot just asked that we give you an update of where we stand with the radio project as it is wrapping up now. Our previous radio system, you all are aware, was a conventional VHF system. All the infrastructure was obsolete. It's no longer being manufactured anymore. The new system is a phase 2 trunked 700 megahertz P25 digital system. It should last us many, many years into the future. Previous system required 12 licensed frequencies to provide us 8 talk channels that were shared throughout the county. The new system only requires 8 licensed frequencies and provides us dozens of talk groups or channels. Much more capability, much more efficient use of the valuable radio frequencies that are out there for us to be able to use. Previous system had lots of dead spots, very difficult to understand in many cases. The new system is very understandable, greater than 99% coverage with portable radios, 100% coverage with mobile radios throughout the county. So the dead spots are gone. The previous system had multiple single points of failure. The new system has redundancy built into it through multiple layers. Another thing to mention with the new system, previously the public school system had to maintain their own radio system, their own infrastructure. With this, since we're able to provide our infrastructure and allow them to ride on our infrastructure, so they should not have that issue any longer. We're working right now with a few things that are still remaining on the contract that Motorola needs to provide. We are working with interoperability, connectivity with their neighbors. A lot of that is based on the speed that they are willing to work with us on. So we're limited there, but we are making progress there. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you all want any additional information.
I got a question. I'm not very familiar with how this works. I know when my phone and TV works, I know when it doesn't work. So that's about as much as I know because I'm not that familiar with technology.
Yes,
So
sir.
since there's a lot of radio frequencies and it sounds like this is picking up more service throughout the county, does that mean I need multiple devices for me to get more channels?
No, you should not need any additional devices. The devices that we have should provide all the services that our folks in the field need.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, you couldn't talk from Amelia to Truist before. I don't talk from Sailors Creek to Manbro.
Was being able to talk to the other localities, was that part of the contract?
Yes.
Have we paid them in full?
No, we have not.
Okay. They shouldn't get paid till it's done.
That's why we didn't pay per item. We paid based on a percentage of the contract for certain milestones, and they haven't met the final milestones yet.
I know sorry, did you finish your question?
Good, go ahead.
I know you've given us some updates on what happened with the lightning strike.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just do a quick summary because for public standpoint there, I think y'all handled that really well. But if you could just do a short summary of
We
that.
can't determine whether the tower was struck or not because there was no damage. If the tower was struck, it handled like it was supposed to. We did identify that there was significant damage that came in through the phone lines, the DSL service, copper phone lines. It melted their router and that signal went through our firewall into our switch, and then it was blasted across the rest of our building. And it took out a lot of electronic equipment within the building. It took out a couple of things that had to do with the radio system, but the radio system functioned as it was supposed to and didn't have any major problems. We are still working. We just recently found out that a couple of the cameras that were installed that we were still in the process of working on when it happened. We didn't notice that they got hit as well. So that was recently added to our list. And essentially, I haven't gotten the final amount from Mr. Stern from the work that they had to do to help us get back up. But the other equipment that we've been able to identify is in the neighborhood of about $50,000.
We'll be able to prevent this from happening again. Because
I'm
you know that
hoping
is a
that
lightning rod
I
standing
hope
right
that
there.
DSL copper line goes away and is replaced by a fiber optic line that will not allow electricity to come in.
How long were we down, or were we down at all?
We're not down at all.
So, speaking of that, say a light did hit one of the towers, are the other ones strong enough to compensate to where you can still get countywide coverage?
Yes.
Awesome.
But a lot of the equipment, but if some of the equipment in this main one, if it had been damaged, which it wasn't, as you said, we continued, then that could bring the whole system down because that does power the
That
whole
could
thing.
that could bring some of the capabilities down. It would not shut the entire system down.
Okay.
It would limit the capabilities.
What does it take to get the movement, as you just said to Todd's question about the movement from the DSL?
We started working on it. It was in our to-do list.
I thought so too. I wanted you to say it out loud. You're already progressing on that.
Yeah, we were working on that prior to the issue, but it was not as high a priority as maybe it should have been. But now it is absolutely a top priority. We don't plan to ever have that happen again.
Thank you, Kent.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is Ms. Pond joining us tonight?
She is on. Yes.
Hello,
Good evening,
yeah,
Ms. Pond. How are you?
very good. Thank you for asking. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Pollitt. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Let me just share with you a slide that I have put together. Let me just put that up. Thank you.
It's the same one, so.
All right, so for the month of August, we are reporting to the board last month of the month of July. July was extremely quiet, but in terms of activities for staff has been extremely crazy. We just closed our June cycle yesterday after it was long overdue. The treasurer and finance, I particularly have been working very closely to reconcile our cash and our bank. Finally, we got that down to where it's manageable. And just this morning, I closed the, hang on just a second. I don't know why my slide did not go forward. Sorry about that. Can you see my slide?
You see the first one?
We always, yeah.
Okay, a few housekeeping items. Let me just start from the beginning since my slide has been backward. Sorry about that. Technology is something that I have to manage when I work remotely. FY25 audit, the part one of the two parts went very well. It was completed on time. And this year they got everything 100% completed and submitted as requested. So the next audit field work for the year will be happening in November, the first part of November. We picked the last option as compared to last year because we were not ready when they came in last year. So let's hope that this year we'll manage that differently. And I have been working very hard with staff and we will stay on point. In terms in terms of the item number 3, it's irrelevant now. Like stated earlier, we closed the June cycle just yesterday, and the FY25 just this morning. I did run into a hiccup, but it's workable. I will be working throughout the remaining of the week to resolve the issue. For now, as you will see in the next few slides, the financial reports will be a lot cleaner and a lot easier to read. I know there are a lot of numbers. I work with what I have. Per the request from Mr. Pollard, I downloaded straight from the financial system. At that time, we didn't have a situation with our financial situation whereby we did not close the June and the FY25 cycle. So the numbers that, even though they were labeled as FY26, they were not truly for FY26 for both actual and adopted budget. When I went through and did my due diligence, I came across that. So I tried to go through line by line to make sure that everything tick and tie back. Even then, I just realized this morning when I review again, the last 2 columns are not really good because I did not modify anything. I just kept them the way they came down from the download of the financial system. The only thing I did differently for this financial report for all funds across the board, I just split the column called current period. It's not really for July as intended, but it's for both June and July. So what I did there, I did a lot of work, tried to gather information, analyze, summarize, and split into the way that it's readable. Even then, there's still some hiccup because we had a lot of data issues lately. So I just want to share that. And the next slide there will be more an update from this morning. Better number, but still as expected. We expected 112 of the FY26 adopted budget and about 1% meaning translate in dollar amount, it should be over $1 million, but became slightly under 929. Keep in mind, be reminded that as Mr. Trump earlier from the school board updated the board, for the month of July and August, anything that came in that are related to FY25, we have to accrue back. So far, I already accrued back the shared services close to $160,000. That means there's still a lot of work to be done, particularly for anything that is related to prior year. Okay, so therefore, July, it appeared to be very light because one, collection didn't come in as expected, and 2, we carried back to last year. But in terms of performance and transaction to review, to analyze, there are a lot of work.
I'm glad you've made that much progress and gotten it resolved. Can you send us this updated version that you did today then
Yes.
to replace the preliminary that was in the packet? Okay.
Yes, indeed. The reason I didn't do earlier because I closed the cycle just like very late at about 4
Well,
or
I'll
5
say, it's
o'clock.
just today. Yeah, I can see you
Yes.
just did it today. I'm just
Yes, no
confirming
problem.
you'll send it, that's all.
Yes, I will do so. So over here, I tried to do color combination, meaning green is really dollar money, money coming in terms of revenue, and anything peach or pink is really like expenditures. And again, we have the same issue. I put a disclaimer for all funds, starting with general fund all the way to our sanitary district. So I put a disclaimer there so that you will not be surprised if the numbers after the audit is completed by the calendar year end, right around November and December, the numbers will be definitely different. But for now, this is what we have. So at the bottom of the page, to see a summarized final revenue and final expenditures. Final is really final as of today, based on my analysis review and all the work that I have done. So again, we came under in terms of the first fiscal period for FY26. We are talking about only 1 month into the year. So therefore, it's not a good month to kind of like forecast the rest of the year in terms of how we are going to perform. But at the minimum with July, we in terms of revenue, we came under by $400,000. In terms of expenditures, it's about the same. We went above by about 400,000. That is because a lot of expenditures were front loaded, and one of a very transparent on the page itself is toward the bottom of the page under the column called expenditure for 2025-07, meaning July. We front-loaded that service payment of about $324,799. That really pushed the total expenditures for the period to be out of place beyond the expected results.
Is that
Any
just the
questions,
due,
Ray?
is that just the general due date for that debt service? That's just when it
Yes,
happens to fall due?
correct. It was due on July 1st. In
Okay.
some years, we prepaid. It depends on how much in advance we receive a copy of the invoice from U.S. Bank, and sometimes we paid within the fiscal year. If that is the case, we have to remind ourselves to charge the prepay and charge the year that the budget belongs to.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is the updated version of the previous one. So right here, as you can see toward the bottom of the page, revenue, we stood at 928,000, and it's going to be even less after I'm done accruing everything back into FY25. It will help 25 being better, but 26 is too early to assess where we're going to end the year with. And in terms of expenditures, we exceeded the expectation because of the debt service as stated earlier. All right, that concluded the general fund in terms of how we did in 25 year end and how we did in July. Now we are moving on to capital improvement fund. As you can see there, it's pretty much for your information only. We hardly spend any money because we just entered the year, plus a lot of department heads could not really view anything in the system yet because I have not closed the year. Now that I closed the year, I still have work to do because the revenue has not, the adopted budget for the year of 26 has not been really posted to the financial system completely, along with the carryover of the fund balance from 25 on to 26. And the only thing good there, we collected interest income about less than $1,000. That's pretty much it. And expenditure is only 13 grand. Now, lastly, the enterprise fund, Fund 502, very quiet there as well. It's not a good month, and typically July and August are not good month to update the board on. But since we have to do a monthly due diligence to check in and check out where we are, and again, I saw that we have $10.78 happen in July. That was a system error whereby we calculate FICA on something that we didn't have a pay for. So I had to look into the system setup. So we have a lot of issue lately with our process. And I learned this morning that the main programmer of Bright had retired. So about a month ago. So we will see how that will pan out in terms of system support because they lost a key person there. And in terms of the sewer, water, and that service for enterprise is very, very small. It's only 4,000. But in the past, such a share with you the background, there were a lot of miscoding when it comes to that service payment, a mix up between enterprise fund and general fund. So I took care of that. Even prior to the auditors came in last month, I spent probably 3 full days over the weekend to clean up the debt service. All looks really good and they're happy with that. So I still have a lot of work to do on actual retirement, pension, anything you name it. So from the system perspective, the collection, the activities are very light, but in terms of my workload, has been really crazy. So with that, the summary of Fund 502 is provided to you at the bottom of the page. As you can see, FY25 definitely is still looking good, but FY26, we just entered the fiscal year. So there are still a lot to stay on top to monitor the activities for the period for the year. So that's all I have to share. Any questions for me?
A lot of information.
Yes,
Takes a
I try
while to
not to
get it all
overload.
straight. I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you very
Very
much.
excited to hear about how much faster and easier things are going and with this audit cycle, and the closeout of this fiscal year we just completed. I think that's good progress.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
as
did,
go
I
ahead.
did speak with Mr. Pollock today about, in the past, we waited and waited and waited for this audit. And I think it's due on December 15th. So hopefully we can hold him to the fire a little bit and make sure we get it in time. But
Yeah.
it has been mid-budget season and we're just getting the audit. So thank you for getting us prepared for it, Ms. Pond.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here. So I will try my very best and will continue working very hard along with our staff to make sure we get there to our finish line before December 15th. A lot to promise, but I will hang tight to it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I will check out now.
Yes. It's been some discussion amongst the board for months of what we want to see in a financial report. Are we headed in the right direction with what is being presented? Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Go ahead.
I was just saying, while we're on finance, can I just bring up one, not for Pond, but just one broader finance thing to Eric. I don't know that this has come up since you've started, and I don't know if Clarence passed it on to you, but most of these guys probably remember. There had been some requests from the Department of Health about needing more funding for either renovations and or new location. Remember that whole that thing? If you have not have you heard of any of that since you started? Let me start there.
Yeah, so over the last couple of weeks, they've inquired about us taking on their phone system. They've inquired about us providing more cleaning staff, and the compensation we felt like was not adequate.
Yeah. Well, So along that line, I don't know if any of you have been following what's happened with Colonial Heights Department of Health. So, everyone calls it the Amelia Health Department, but as we know, it's located in Amelia, but it's not Amelia. It's the state. So Colonial Heights got demands from the State Department of Health for new facility, more things, et cetera. And Colonial Heights told them no. And so they just consolidated it with the Chesterfield location. And I just think we need to be really conscious of it sounds like exactly where you were going. Like, it's not a we have to kind of thing. These are options. And Jerry Wayne and I've had a lot of conversations over the last several weeks. The county is getting really, really poor service from the health department. Even with the thing we got an update on from Eric yesterday, about all of the stuff on that certain road, where the health department was informed of a non-compliant septic system, for example. The inspector said, oh, well.
Yeah.
And I've escalated to his leader, who's not even in Amelia, and gotten very little response. I don't think we need to be investing a lot in there when we're not getting services back and getting really, really poor service when we do. So I just wanted to bring that up with that's the finance angle of it to me is I think they're just demanding a lot and we're not getting much back from it. So
which is not satisfactory.
No, not satisfactory at all. Yeah.
And Jeff and I have talked, I can't remember if it was this week or last week, but we are looking at the old MOU that's in place and seeing what is in there, and
Yeah.
it will probably be updated at some point in the next 12 months.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we've got 4 appropriations or reimbursements. One was from the Amelia Emergency Squad for the sale of an ambulance, 7,910. That's some repairs to the sheriff's office through Vaycorp with the insurance company, 3,103.99. Got some workman's comp reimbursements, 475.64 cents, and then they got some overtime from working an event, 836.09. I'd love to entertain a motion to approve it in a block.
There's no action for those. They're just information.
That's right. You right?
That is one thing going forward. So it looks like in the past, we've had these, it says staff recommendation FY only, then there's a motion in there. So y'all are fine with us just taking the motion out completely?
I don't know why there's a motion listed.
That'd be fine.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, we could put them in the consent agenda.
Well, but then we're approving them. If you're in the consent agenda, we're approving them, and they're already done. So if we approve them, if we didn't approve them, then we'd have a problem. So yeah, I think we just need to remove the motion if they're truly for FYI, because they've already been, like in this case, they've already been processed. So
Yeah. Okay. We
Yeah.
can do that. We'll start doing that going forward.
All right.
yeah, it is odd to say staff recommendation FYI, and then I get your point. Yeah, and then to have a motion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just leftover language. Because we used to approve them, and then we had a discussion of why.
Yeah. Then I still get confused.
Well, it's not just you. I was trying to help you on that because it's confusing.
All right, moving on to community development. Monthly report. Do you have something to speak on this, Austin?
I don't have too much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've got the report there. I'll just highlight a few things. The H.H. Hunt project, they have submitted, it's been on social media. They continue to work on revising their preliminary application. And so that's not moving forward for public hearing yet. They will likely revise their application they've submitted based on comments that they're getting from VDOT, from the schools, from Public Works, different departments. So that will, when they're ready, that will move forward, but no set timeline for that yet to move forward. And then on the environmental side, the Meadows at Dunn Street, the land and service permit has been issued for that. They're actively grading. And Redfield South, they actually just this past Monday got their land and service permits. They'll be starting in the next couple of weeks there as well on doing some grading there.
Okay. And y'all seen the DMV statement? Meeting reports. All right, brings us to some old business. Got an ordinance that was properly advertised. Where we want to amend the elderly tax relief to increase the limits. Got a public hearing. Any board members have any questions before we open the public hearing? All right, this time I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this ordinance amendment? What we're doing, we're raising the limit for income on the elderly tax relief 10%, which is from 30,000 to 33,000. Anybody like to speak for or against it? Hearing.
Bobby Light, 1600 Richmond Road. Just making on record, speaking forward.
with inflation and everything, it's time for the seniors who's on a fixed income to get a little bit of break as our taxes seem to be climbing real quick. With all that's going on in the country and all going on here. We're also looking at new developments and stuff in the county, which is going to hit the residents real hard in taxes in the near future as the development starts out. Anytime we have growth, it costs every one of us. It doesn't just, it's not, I haven't found out yet where anybody can prove to me in the dollars, when they put all the dollars on the table, is how the growth that we talk about is actually a financial benefit to the residents of the county. It's out of the pockets of the county that pays for all the support and then that the new businesses or anything developments actually come along. So as far as the seniors go, I think it's time for a break.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Anybody else? All right, I'll close the public hearing. Board members, you've got the staff summary, you've got the recommended resolution. What's the board's pleasure?
I move that we adopt the ordinance as presented.
Okay. I'll add to your motion is we're increasing the limit for the elderly tax from 30,000 to 33,000. And that's what's in the resolution. All right, gentlemen, motion on the floor. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair, so I don't think you don't need to amend that was not official amendment, was it? Because
Well, I just wanted to say it.
okay, that was just comment.
Okay, we'll make it.
For the record, the motion was perfect.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make everybody know what we're doing. Thank you, Dexter.
Good comments, though, Mr. Chair.
What's the board's pleasure? All in favor of accepting of, y'all messed me up now. All in favor of the motion that made by Mr. Dexter on the elderly tax relief, raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Brings us to our second public hearing, special exception permit. Mr. Watkins for some farm labor.
Again, Mr. Chairman, I said Robert Watkins, the applicant, is requesting to place a mobile home for farm laborers on property. It's on tax map parcel 21-10B, zoned RR3. It would be a double wide, approximately 2,300 square feet on the Winterham Road side of the property. This would allow farm employees to stay in more modern housing than their current housing. This is being requested as a special exception permit. The code states the placing of a detached mobile home on a farm for use as a dwelling unit by one or more persons employed on the farm as a farm laborer or by members of the family operating on the farm with no separate lot required is allowed as a permitted use by special exception. You see in your staff report, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the special exception, which is option 1 in your packet, with the staff recommendations. The staff recommendations would be that the proposed mobile home shall be a mobile home double wide, which is the only type of mobile home allowed in the RR3 district. That the proposed mobile home shall be located in the general proximity to the location shown on the sketch and submitted with the application. And that the proposed mobile home shall meet the applicable setbacks for agricultural structures. That would take it from 100 feet, which would normally be permitted for a home, to 150 feet. So it requires to be a little bit further back off the road than would normally be allowed. And I can answer any questions we have.
Any questions? All right. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this special permit? Please come up and state your name and address.
My name is Rhonda Dunlow. My address is 11901 Winterham Road.
I disagree with the zoning of the thing he just said, because it's gonna be right in front of our house. It's gonna make our property go down, because you're gonna be I know he's gonna put more than one, because they've already been talking about more than one. Right now, he's just setting one, but at the last meeting y'all had, it wasn't you guys, it was the other group. It was saying, well, when this one goes through, it's like, it's gonna be another one goes through. So, I mean, it's like they already got it. They're gonna already approve it. Like they already approved it. What we saying is not gonna mean anything, but it's gonna make our property go down. Because it's gonna have several of them, and it's right there on Winterham Road. Right now, I got a beautiful property right now, and I don't want it to go down, the value of it to go down. It's where I was raised at right there. My grandchildren raised there and everything. So it just isn't fair to us.
Okay,
So I disagree.
thank you.
Earl Dalton. And then call me Winky. Everybody calls me Winky, so you can call me Winky. But I disagree with it. I think Mr. Watkins is a good man. I don't have nothing against him, but you think about putting Mexicans right in front of your house. I don't like it, and I think he said he would look after it and everything, but I don't think he would. Cause he wouldn't pay his taxes till they made him pay him. So he ain't gonna be looking after no Mexicans. And you just think about him putting them right in front of your house. Would you want them? What I got to say.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a question. Mr. Winky,
Yeah.
I recall sitting in on a planning commission with some of the neighbors around. And it was suggested that y'all and Mr. Watkins get together and talk about this and try to come to a compromise. Has that been done?
We talked to him at the meeting that was here last time, and we asked him, why didn't he put it over there where the other house is, near the pond, if he wants to put it over there? He said that place was condemned. I said, well, knock it down and put it back right there. Why put it over in front of our house?
If you're gonna build, if you're building a farmhouse, you put it over in the farm. You don't have to put it up on the road. And he got another road over he could put it on. He's got a beautiful pond to put a house around.
I think the answer is no, Dexter.
Yeah, I mean, it was suggested y'all get together and hammer this out and come to an agreement of some sort. So it's evidently no one's come together on nothing.
No, ain't nobody talking to me about it, just up here.
All right, everybody get a time to talk. Thank you, Winky.
Evening, gentlemen. Mike McDowell, 15560 Micah Lane. I live directly across the street from this Winterham location that he wants to put the trailer. But my question is, when is it going to stop? Is it one trailer or is it going to be several? When my wife and I moved out here 19 years ago, we never thought that we'd be living across from a trailer park. And it's worded as a mobile home for laborers. How many laborers are going to be on this property? We have grandchildren from 2 years old to 14. And are they going to be legal or illegal, which is a lot going on now in the country with illegals. And I'm just concerned for their safety. And this driveway they put in is directly across from my street, right across from us. And I feel like the lady here, is it going to drive down our home values? What's it going to do to us? Why does it have to be right there? He's got all that land. He could put it somewhere else on the property. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Evening, gentlemen. My name is Penny McDowell. I live at 15560 Micah Lane. We've been living there for 19 years. I live right on the corner. Last year when Mr. Watkins was running dump trucks out of there And because they put a driveway in halfway around that curve right there. And I had nothing but dirt all over my house. We complained to Mr. Watkins about the dirt that was flying over. And now I'm concerned because like they ride around that farm 24 hours monitoring it. And I hear dun 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 dun. I hear Mexican music all night over there on that farm. And I don't want to hear that. And another thing, I'm concerned about where that driveway is going to be, that they're going to be coming in and out of. Because the other day, a big old truck came through there the other day and came. I said, I know he's not going to come out on Winterham Road. And he did. He came out on Winterham Road. So is that going to be, how much traffic is going to be going in and out of that side road right there off of Winterham Road? Because I'm just like this lady and gentleman. I live right there on the corner. I'm catching all the noise. I hear everything that's going over there at that farm. And how close are these trailers going to be? So I'm real concerned and I object.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to speak? All right, I'll close the public hearing. There is an email that we received this afternoon in support of this. I would like to have that added to the minutes also.
Right, if you're done.
You go first, I'll follow you.
Well, I mean, I'll just kind of ping off your email that I've gotten a lot of positive comments on this. As many of you know, I mean, I'm from a farm family, live on a farm. This is, it's the reality of farming. This is, I feel like a lot of the comments are from people who've moved to a farm area and don't understand the necessity of farming these days. Regarding the comment of putting a home for laborers, we have one on our farm and it's closer to the road than in my own house. It's closer to my parents' house. It's reality. So no, I can confidently say I would not mind exactly what this is there. And this is the reality of what it takes to produce food in America. And he's already stipulated that it is agriculture, and we've already closed the public comment period. You had your time. Agriculture is agriculture. There's a very broad definition of agriculture. And I think there's a lot of biases being stated. This is already going to be regulated by the federal government to ensure that they're permissible workers, et cetera. Those are not valid things for us to consider through this. That's all been gone through. So those are my summary comments.
There are a lot of these in the county. A lot of tobacco farmers use workers, and they have to house them on their property. It really wouldn't be any different if he broke it up in lots and put houses there. We only know of one structure, one dwelling. I think it's just like Mr. East said, we live in an agriculture community and we pride ourselves on that. It's just what goes with it.
You made a really good point, though. There's nothing to stop them from selling those as separate lots and next to them, and then they can just put mobile homes there without needing exceptions at all. I mean, they could put multiple right there. I think as long as it didn't go above 5, then he doesn't have to get permission for a subdivision, you know. But he could break that off into multiple lots and put quite a few of them right there if he wanted. I think he's going about this the legal and right way.
No.
If the zoning gets approved, I'm sorry, I'm speaking out loud, but I am, but if the zoning gets approved because it's double wide in there, and the zone gets approved, does that mean he can not only put one, he can put as many as possible, the zone is approved? Or can he only put that one double wide? How does that work?
I'd have to ask our community developer or our county
Yeah,
administrator.
yeah, that's an excellent question.
Where's Austin?
Pretty sure. no.
Should just be one.
It's all.
Yeah, this would only allow for one. If you want to put another one, you have to come back for another
That's right.
special exception permit request to do the one. So
Yeah.
this is only for one.
But if you want to put a string of 3 acre lots through there and build houses on them,
Or mobile home.
Well, this is an RR3, so if it's eligible for single cut, you get a single cut. Otherwise, it would require rezoning, just like the
Yeah.
property across the road did.
What is
That
the
did.
double wide, son? What is it you have to have for double wide?
So this property is an RR3, so the minimum acreage is 3 acres for a lot. If it was eligible for single cut, or it'd have to be rezoned to R3 to do a subdivision.
okay.
Could turn the whole 328 acres into a subdivision, have another Oak Springs plantation.
With the rezoning.
Yeah.
And you are, sorry, you're, last thing, sorry, Dexter, I'm still on that point while he's staying there. You want it, your recommendation is increasing the setback or
Yes.
50, I think.
to
Yeah, increasing it
150,
to the same as it would be for an agricultural building, which is 150 feet from the.
which is more than
Which is
standard.
more than standard.
Standard, yes. So we are I just want to emphasize that part,
Yes.
increasing the setback from what it would normally be. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Dexter.
Uh,
Why don't you put the other?
That's not, yeah, that's, come on.
Yeah.
as a full-time farmer myself right now, and I know how it is on trying to find help. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I used to be one of the largest sun-cured tobacco farmers in the state of Virginia. And the only reason I could do that is before the tobacco bag, my neighbor had H2A laborers. He got them in May. They went home in November. He didn't need them every day, so it worked perfect for me. I used them when he didn't use them.
Oh.
But he had to furnish the housing and all for them. So it was a win-win for me. I know what the problem is with him about his help and all, and I understand how he wants to put housing for his help. I feel for y'all. I really do. Because if I could have got the laborers and justified the cost, I'd still be raising tobacco right now. But I had to make a decision.
Getting labor. The problem is where he's putting it at.
Oh, okay, let me finish.
Okay, so-
Let me finish. I see his point there. What disturbs me is I was sitting in that planning commission. I took Mr. Phelps's place on that meeting when that was all being brought up. And I was under the understanding that everybody was gonna get together and hammer this out and come to an agreement to some sorts.
Yeah, I told him, I said, why don't you put it over there where you got the house at now?
It seems like it wasn't hammered out.
I asked him, and he wouldn't answer me.
And I do know about his past with the place being put almost on the courthouse steps being sold. I remember that very well. But my concerns is, and I think that just got corrected, about putting multiple trailers or double wides through there. I would have a problem with that. I don't live that far from it, but the man is running a legitimate agricultural business. He has to have help. I don't understand why he can't move it to the other side. I don't know why. But that's him. That's his decision. So, we'll say we're agriculture county. And I hope we stay that way for quite a while. If not, they made a good point there. Do you want another Redfield Farms in here? Because they could do it. They developed all the property in Chesterfield. That's why they're in Amelia. I mean, the man's trying to survive. I don't feel comfortable voting against this, but I can see his point about voting for it.
So you didn't answer our question. Is it gonna bring our property value down?
I can't guarantee that. I'm not an assessor, so I don't know. I doubt if it's gonna bring it down. The way land is running out in Chesterfield Power Plant, they're developing it so fast. It's only gonna make ours increase.
It's probably gonna go up,
I would guess.
because you're gonna have a residence right across the street. So the value's gonna
Yeah.
increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see where your property's going there.
Y'all approve this without asking him if he could just put it in the middle where the house is at now? You try to push it that way, or you just stick with whatever he says?
Well, here's the thing. We don't tell, this is not, that's not for us to do.
I mean, he's got a house and getting ready to tear down, he says condemned.
That's not for us to do. We're already giving you a lot of by the way, we're giving you a lot of leeway because this is way outside the process.
He doesn't live in me.
That doesn't matter.
I mean.
That doesn't matter. I'd say we've given too much leeway. We're out of.
Well, the owners of Redfield at the time was living in Miami, Florida, and they had one land in Amelia developing it all. I mean,
Plenty of people on property here don't live in a million.
yeah.
A lot of business owners don't live in a million.
Ben, did you have a question?
I just had some thoughts. It sounds like it's the location. They don't mind the spot. And I just wanted to clarify.
I think that's just an excuse.
Well, just because he put an arrow
Where
there,
they're living.
he has the right in this whole big area to put it.
See, here's the main drag.
Because it's all one block. It's all.
No, not if they do the
It has to be where he put the arrow. Okay.
Right here
My
at
question.
Winterham Plantation,
And,
which somebody else owns.
the other one that does
I
kind of
can't
bother
think
me,
why you
that
couldn't put it right there.
he didn't meet
next
with
to
them, but
the
that's
wall.
them.
There's a building right there.
But
Put it right there.
I would like to, if we can, insert the word farm laborers only.
It's in there.
It is,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't see it. I read through it. I didn't see, where is it?
But it doesn't say only, but it states farm labor.
So okay,
It states, yeah.
okay.
All
Okay,
right, gentlemen, what's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the special exception permit with the conditions as recommended by staff, include that the proposed mobile home be a mobile home double wide. Proposed mobile home be located general proximity location shown on the sketch submitted with the application. That it only be used for farm labor, and the proposed mobile home meet applicable setbacks for agricultural structures.
All right, thank you, Mr. Easter. Motion,
And I would recommend that the motion also incorporate option one, the staff drafted motion. You don't have to read it. You guys see that?
I do see it. I'm just rereading it. Yes, that's fine. That's what I was trying to cover. Yes, include, yes, and I'll make my motion include the stated option one recommended approval with conditions as written in the presentation.
an option.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right, motion on the floor for approval on the staff recommendation, option one. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
I don't want to lose a farm.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
See why he can't move it.
maybe they can go ask him.
That should have been,
They had, we all had months on this.
well, we didn't.
We did, we know it's coming, staff could have. They weren't even willing to talk to him. If they're not willing to have a civil conversation offline.
All right, that brings us to our next topic. I think we talked about this last month.
Conversation.
Treasurer's interested in doing a stop program on building and zoning permits for real estate owners and delinquent taxes. Anybody have any questions for open the public hearing? I'll open the public hearing now on the ordinance text amendment. Zoning and building permit stops due to delinquent taxes. Anybody wishing to speak for or against it? Please come up, state your name and address. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the board's pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance as presented.
Motion floor to adopt the ordinance as presented. Any more discussion?
Yeah, let's go.
We're good.
All in favor of the motions? For the ordinance text agreement to the stop program for building and zoning permits, raise your hand. Motion carries. Gentlemen. Brings us to a resolution from the EDA.
So this is a VDOT program that requires the board to approve, even though the EDA is going to administer this grant. And when speaking with Bob, it's my understanding that any sort of potential match that would be required would be paid for through the EDA. Again, this, VDOT requires you guys to approve this. It's not like some other county functions where the board approves it, but somebody else is administering it, really. So.
On this one, I think we only have the one option.
Yeah.
This one, I would take back what I just told you.
Yeah. Either adopt as presented or it just fails.
Right.
You ready for that?
All right, what's the board's pleasure? There's no local match.
Right.
EDA to do.
I'll make a move to adopt the resolution as presented.
Move or motion?
A motion.
Thank you, sir.
Move. I move. I make a motion.
No, move is correct. Motion is wrong.
There you go.
I make a move. I make a move.
If I move.
I move.
And then.
All right, more discussion. All in favor, raise your hand.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Dang.
Don't pick on me, but I can't pick back. I see how this is.
No, I laughed. I was with you.
All right, I asked to put this on the agenda, and I learned something.
Say that again.
What? I learned
What?
something.
That's something.
move.
That's.
All right, I'll take my time. I didn't know bed and breakfasts were allowed in the county. I thought, but I see that they are allowed in certain zoning.
Yeah, the one up here on Grove Hill.
I know that now.
Yep.
One year second school, maybe.
There's two of them.
But one thing did strike me of the ones that are that the commissioner doesn't have the authority, the ability to issue business license to these. So we need to fix that. That's one reason I wanted to talk about it. And possibly, short-term rentals. I know they got shot down a while back.
Still a business.
It's still a business, and there is a need for short-term rentals. What does the board feel like?
Can you break that down for just a second? Can we go back to the part about commissioner can't issue the,
Does not have the ability to issue if they are not able to get the zoning report. So I didn't understand all of that, but I just.
can we talk about, can we
I
just
think-
talk about that more?
I
Why
think-
would she not have the authority to do that? What do we need to do to fix that? That seems like a,
I think the man is getting ready to talk right now.
Yeah, so this is specifically in reference to an Airbnb short-term rental. If someone's renting their entire house out on a short-term basis,
Oh.
that's
Yeah,
what
not the
we're
other.
referring to,
The
not
ones that are
bed
in-
and breakfast. We're referring to an Airbnb type situation.
oh, okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, so the bed and breakfast, those she can issue permits for,
Correct, yes.
or not, yeah.
She can issue a business license for bed.
She cannot issue them for Airbnbs
Correct.
because they're not really, because we don't even consider them business essentially.
Because they're only allowed in an R2 and a B1 district. So outside of those districts, there's not an ability within the zoning ordinance currently to allow them as a use in the county.
Can she issue them in those two districts?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
but there are very few residences within those two.
Agree. And assuming the ones that are being advertised are probably not. So
They're not
the
those.
ones being advertised are illegal essentially.
Correct.
Not just essentially, just they're
They are,
illegal,
yes.
period.
Period. What about these here people who take elderly in and taken care of?
That's a different thing. I think it's different.
But that's a good question.
That is a good question.
There's 3 or 4 in the county that does that. I mean,
More than that.
well, it probably is. I mean,
Like a group home?
Yes, but they do them in their home.
nursing home, they go to
But
someone.
they do them in their home. It's in-home elderly care. Yeah.
I don't know if that's addressed by the ordinance or not, but.
Yeah, if they're living in there, we have a definition of a family for up to 4 unrelated people. So up to 4 unrelated people can live together anywhere. If it's a group home, which is up to 8 certain disabled or there's certain definition in state code, that's allowed for up to 8 in any zoning district as well by state code. So those are both allowed without anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure either one of those cover where Dexter's going. I think maybe we should talk to you offline. We've got some examples of ones. I think they're very legitimate, but this is to be clear, would not want to shut them down, but in any ways, I think we want to make sure. I mean, this is a theory we talk about all the time, make sure everyone's paying their fair share. They are businesses generating, some of them generate a lot of revenue. I mean, a lot of revenue. I've had quite a few family members stay in them throughout the county, and we want I mean, let's be clear, we want the tax revenue from them because it's not fair for them to not pay the tax revenue and other businesses do. I think we should add that to our agenda to look at.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are already legal, but we can make sure.
Yeah, we'll just follow up on those for, I don't doubt that they're legal. The question is how we're
Is there a
capturing.
business license? Are you asking?
Yes, yeah, I don't doubt that they're legal to do. I think, are we capturing them from a business license standpoint? How do we capture them, et cetera? Yeah.
They're about 1 step below a nursing home.
Yeah, that's a good description for it. Mhm. Yeah.
And
So
that's
on the
big
bid,
money, big business.
on the bed and breakfasts, they are allowed in those zonings. And they are acceptable to a business.
Okay, so those we feel like we're good at.
Is that what I'm hearing? We're good on those?
Correct. Yes.
And if we do a special exception permit, we would definitely know about those.
Yeah.
I just think we need to advise staff to come up, if we don't have definitions, we need to have a definition, so we don't get caught up in something, but.
Well, I agree. I mean, knowing you've got something we have to address when we know that people are advertising. I mean, you see here, people are advertising Airbnbs and they're illegal. We've got to either let those people know they're illegal and shut them down, which I don't think is our intent, or we catch the code up to allow it and capture the associated tax revenue with it.
Exactly.
Does anybody know how the Airbnb works? I did some checking. The guy told me that they actually paid the local tax.
Yeah.
Through the
company does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the company does.
So are we getting it?
No, we don't have, because we don't have a code.
We don't even know who they are. Yeah. I think, because there's no registry, there's no license, there's no process. So I think if that's the case.
That's the problem.
And there's no tax imposed. We have to have a TOT, which the county doesn't have. Right.
Mhm.
That's the tax we're talking about. Besides the business license, we're talking about transient occupancy tax, which would also apply to hotels.
Yeah.
Motels and the like.
I
So
mean, you know,
that would have to be in place.
there's a trend, and I think we are trying to push tourism some in the county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, people want to get out the city and they love to go to a petting farm or a farm and all that, and they stay there.
It's
They
a hot
just-
ticket. I gotta know a guy over
It
here in
just-
Nottaway, just off 153.
Yeah.
And it's just a house in the woods with a little pond in the backyard. And he's booked up for almost a year.
Yeah, them people like Jeff, you know, live in the
Yeah.
city, got a lot of
Private
money. They want to come up to
Tesla out there.
hillbillies and see how the other half of the world lives.
To clarify Todd's point, if you're going through a large company like True, so Airbnb is a brand, let's be clear. We tend to use that as like the name. Airbnb is a specific brand.
It's like Bush Hall.
If you're doing that, if you're doing actual VRBO, which is the company, and we have a tax on record, they're gonna pay it because they're gonna want to be compliant. But you don't have to, I don't know about your friend's situation, but just use that as an example. You don't have to go through one of those. You could just advertise to rent.
So-
And then that person is individually responsible for doing it. So you have to capture all of those also. But I'm definitely aligned with David. I think we need to get staff to get updated ordinances around it and move forward.
Do we want to cover all, can anybody think of it, bed and breakfasts, the rooming and boarding houses?
How about these places that have weddings?
Well, those are covered. We've got
Those are already covered.
Already covered?
Yeah. Because they've got to either fall as a by right. Well, I'm saying it out loud, make sure they think I'm right. They got to either fall as a by right use, or we've had some come in, they have to have a special exception. And then that is considered a business that gets business license and through regular taxing of business license.
Yeah, that's been done under the assembly hall use, which is permitted in some districts and a special exception in other districts.
Right. Yeah.
Does this cover short-term rentals?
So I believe the definition of tourist home that's already in our code would cover Airbnbs. That's defined as a dwelling unit where only lodging is provided for accommodations for up to 14 persons and open to transients.
Okay.
That would cover an Airbnb or short-term rental, that definition.
But then, even when, Larkin was doing his project over this.
Yeah.
He said it was a hard time for people to find places.
Stay.
And then some of them were staying in the campground,
Yeah.
which that's.
What's they saying over there, at the church on,
Yeah, and this would,
Brackett's Bend Road, no, I rode through there the other day, the brick church, I can't, Epworth Church.
Uh-huh.
It was a row of campers sitting all around it.
So I guess we've got to see then, like you're talking about, if that's the tourist home, well, it's which zone? Zone?
So that is currently allowed by right in R2 and B1, and it's not allowed anywhere else.
Oh, it applies. That's what I was going to ask you. That sub bullet for rest home applies to that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think that's what we got to look at then, David. It's like, is that the only two places we want to allow it by right? Because to Austin's point, that's not necessarily where most of these are going to,
anywhere they gonna be.
that doesn't even make sense for where they're going to be.
And you back up and think, how many homes are out there, or second dwellings that were done for a family member?
Right.
And most of them were proffered that they be removed.
Yeah.
Now they could get some income off of them.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's why, like, Richmond's going through this right now. I mean, it's big in the Times-Dispatch right now. Richmond's going through, and for example, they said they have a kind of similar study to what you did. They have 1,000 that are being advertised right now, and only, don't quote me on the number, it's something like 25, less than 50 are actually going through to get the permits. But that's what you do. If you require them to get a permit, then you do that kind of checking. And that's part of the reason to make them get a permit, not just get a business license. And, we have some things like that too, where in order to get a business license, there has to come a certification from across the hall for certain kinds of things before Laura can issue it. And that could be a thing, like, it has to be verified from the county administration that, like, this isn't a second dwelling that had a restriction, blah, 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 that kind of thing too.
Yeah, so if you were to make this a permitted use in other districts.
Yeah.
That would be the process. When someone came to get a business license, they would first be required to do the zoning compliance form.
That's okay.
To fill that out, I would check to make sure it's okay to do it in that zoning district on that property, and then sign that, and then they would get their business license. So the process is already set up. It's just adding it as a use in other districts if you want to.
y'all feel comfortable giving staff a direction to?
Yeah.
I'm like.
Countywide, or you can pick out something?
I'm like Joseph. I don't think you gonna find these in the.
Let's come back with
R1 and B2. I think you gonna find them.
I think he knows better.
Yeah.
Let's let him, I'd say let's let him come back with, staff come back with recommendations.
People willing to pay money to come up and spend a week and watch how things go around here.
Well, there's tons of them in Chesterfield.
Yeah.
And they're in subdivisions. And nobody even knows that they are.
Can you come back with something? And
I can. It's gonna be what districts do you want them in though? That's the.
But can you make recommendations? You can start with recommendations.
Yeah.
You can talk to us offline too.
Yep.
All right, I think that gets us.
That may line up too with some other discussions they're gonna have the next month as well. So that
Yeah.
may play well together.
Well, and that's also why, by doing that, then we'll have to do a public hearing and things, of course, which we know, and that's what we're gonna want from the public too, is what they want, man, because I think Todd's point is exactly where I was actually going in my mind. I don't think it's only about the district, it's as much about within the district. So I could see a place where you said the district's fine, but not within a subdivision, for example, because I think existing homeowners in subdivisions in Amelia are not necessarily going to be excited to see that their neighbors are doing short-term rentals. You know, but is that allowed to be excluded or not? I don't know. Yep.
Yeah, just
Type thing.
potentially it could be something where you allow them by right in your districts that don't allow subdivisions and then allow them by special exception in your districts to do allow subdivisions would be a way to still allow the possibility of them.
Yeah.
And do it on a case by case basis, or just allow them where there are no subdivisions and not allow them where there are subdivisions. Those are probably the options that you're gonna come down to.
Yeah. I can tell you, I personally do not want them all have to be coming through here for special exceptions
No,
to do
I agree.
Airbnb special exceptions that.
Yeah. Or you could allow them, yeah. So those are probably the options. Allow them everywhere, allow them in subdivisions or not allow them in subdivisions.
I lean towards everywhere except subdivisions as a starting point. I just don't think subdivision folks are gonna want their neighbors doing that.
Yeah, and I don't think we'd have a lot of hit on that in a subdivision out here, I wouldn't think.
Probably.
Right now, you go keep it to it's one per lot. You know how people think. So, hey, I can make some revenue off this, so I'm gonna put.
Well, if they build an accessory dwelling unit for the purpose, they would have to then follow the standard process for accessory dwelling units.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Which we've tabled, and we've got to come back to that ordinance change next month.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point. We need to think about them in conjunction.
Yeah.
It could drive the demand for accessory dwelling units up. And so as we come revisit that next month, we do need to think about those and make sure we feel comfortable with how we've put the parameters around it. Yeah.
Well, I think we got some direction and
You got some homework. You needed something to do anyhow.
we can get through and talk to you one-on-one. Like, has everybody gone through and got their ideas on the ADUs before we get to next month?
He and I talked to me,
Okay.
but I'm not worried about the timeline.
Mr. Chair, the other piece of this is the TOT, that's something to think about, and that's the actual taxes, transit occupancy tax. You
Yeah.
can't collect that unless you adopt that. So that's another thing to think about. It's not just the location and the zoning piece and the permitting, but do you also want to have that taxation? Because that would apply to everything that meets that of the state code, which would include any motel or hotel or bed and breakfast.
Yes.
So
think so.
that's another piece of it, not just the land
Yeah.
use.
I think so.
I'm agreeing with David.
So Jeff, is that just a standard ordinance we would advertise and adopt?
Yeah, and there's,
Okay.
I forget what the rates are, but they're set out, they're capped by state code. You can only go so high. So that's a piece of it too. And you don't have to invent the wheel here, reinvent the wheel. There are examples out there that I'm sure Austin can find that might help give us some ideas and putting some recommendations together. Other localities have done this.
Okay. All right, well, we'll have a big discussion next month. then. All right, thank you, Austin.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you said next month. Were you expecting him to have all that next month? I mean, let's
No,
be clear.
no, not all of that.
Okay.
I just think the ADUs are coming up next month.
Yeah, okay.
And it
I
might
just
be-
saw his face. Let's make sure
Yeah,
We
no,
could
I-
have some preliminary findings for the,
great.
No, it was
I
not,
just think we have to.
for the short-term rental, not the transient lodging tax. I think we would do that once you guys figure out what policy you would implement.
yeah.
You can, but you could do the TOT now. I mean, the thing is, you could do TOT now because you already have transient tax. I mean, you already have transient lodging. And then you could just add to this in the future. You don't have to wait for that one. Just to be clear, there's no reason to wait on that.
To,
Because like you said, that's a very standard ordinance that's in many, many counties. You could start that, if you don't start it soon, it'll be hard to start it with an effective date any earlier than January or February. You're going to need to give businesses time to start reporting and collecting and that kind of thing. I'd say get moving faster on the TOT. And then you add in additional scope of the Airbnb VRBOs to the TOT at a later point. Because that's the easier approach too.
So probably looking at next tax year as far as.
That'd be fine.
Implementation,
That'd still be fine.
notice, all that.
It'd still be fine.
That we can start working.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So y'all want to have that public hearing ready at the September meeting?
No,
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't think, no, I don't know.
Okay.
ain't gonna be that.
I'm just saying you don't have to wait. My point is just you don't have to wait for the Airbnb stuff to be finished to move forward with the transient tax.
Okay, I understand.
We get through the
Yep.
we get through the ADUs. But then that'll be the next project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. That's all.
All right,
That's your turn.
I can stop talking now.
All right, so for my report this month, believe the Berkeley Group facilitators have reached out to a few of y'all and set up preliminary discussions in anticipation of our retreat in Farmville coming up next month. Appreciate y'all taking the time to talk with them about that. I think they'll be very productive for us. We didn't have an EDA meeting in August that was canceled. Staff's met to have preliminary discussions and moving forward with the development of the animal shelter. And there's going to be some construction in the administration office. We're going to be doing some minor renovations to improve the amount of square footage and efficiency that we have in there. So once we get a final date set for that, we will make an announcement on Facebook and on the website just to let citizens know and try and keep the disruptions to a minimum for citizens and staff. So that's what I have for my general monthly report, unless y'all have any questions. Then the next item I got is I did a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats analysis, SWOT. Anything government's got to have an acronym, right? So whoever came with that one was pretty good. Basically identified some themes that I've come across, whether talking with staff or talking with y'all individually throughout the organization community, and just some things to think about in anticipation for our retreat and trying to help, I guess, brainstorm for what we want to prioritize and how we want to shape the community for the next few years. So unless y'all have any questions about that. And then the last three reports I have are, so the waste management fees, wanted to start tracking these by throughout the year, fiscal year, then also last couple fiscal years, partly anticipation for when we start planning the capital improvement process and looking at a realistic ballpark number that we would plan around, and we're anticipating future revenues based on current information, right? So the July number for Wayne is $249,696.28. And the letter is in the community development report, but I'll have those numbers in my section going forward. Then the next couple items are the appropriation requests. So right now it's one page, probably by the end of the fiscal year, it's probably gonna be 3 to 5 pages long. And this is just tracking what you guys have not only approved, but also what's been informational. So there's a comprehensive list, and just to keep you guys up to date on that throughout the course of a year. And then finally, we have the capital improvement projects list, like Pond had mentioned. So far, because this is at the end of July, 1 month is what we're showing. There hasn't been anything spent to date. Now there were paving projects for the school that were completed in the last week or two. That's going to get processed. So you'll see that show up in one of the line items here in the report. So as these projects move forward and develop, it'll reflect that in the report. So that's all I have for my monthly report, unless y'all have any questions for me.
No, I'm good. Make any questions? All right. I want to run through your committee reports and comments. Mr. Roberts. Move to your committee reports.
Attended the PSR by phone last month. Went to the VACO meeting. That was last week, right? Yeah, last week. That's still pretty much being controlled by Loudoun County and Fairfax. They're controlling everything apparently. Nothing good came out of that. So that's pretty much it. Got CPMT tomorrow. Got Virginia Heartland Friday. It's next week. Next week. That's about it.
Joe?
Committees and stuff, standard months. The additional would be working with some of the fire departments, as a group, and a lot of firefighters individually, trying to help them better understand what's going on in the future and calm them down from concerns they've had. So making progress there.
Dexter?
Went to the CRC meeting this morning and had an interesting discussion about the future of water in the state. And that it said that in the future, it's going to be broke down into two counties, two types of counties. The counties who can sell water and the counties who have to buy water. And if you better be on the county that can sell water, is what they're saying. So, it brings up a good point. And I have mentioned this several times to some of y'all. We got a great water supply. Well, we can lose it at 5 minutes from now. And we would have no water supply because we depend on wells. And I know from firsthand experience, because I used to help dig wells. And what happened in the early 2000s over in Goochland County, phone was ringing off the hook. We got no water. We got no water. Well, we had an earthquake that night. We went over there and started checking wells. And it was a dozen of them in one vicinity, one area. Every one of them had to have a new well dug because of the earthquake. So that's what we depend on here, wells. Good thing while it lasts, but it's unpredictable. Went to the Piedmont Senior Resource Meeting that Todd laid out of, and
I was there by phone, son.
yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
Flirting with the women, but anyway, come with my understanding that they said on their food distributing to all their customers, they could double the amount of people that they're delivering food to. And that if the Amelia's Food Bank needs some food, they said they got more than they get rid of. And that's something to think about. And that's it.
Okay. Can you make that connection with the food bank?
I'm trying to get up there to see her, and I'm gonna tell her about that. You need to get up,
Okay. David?
Yeah. Let's see. I met with the library director himself briefly, and he's got some really good stuff coming down the pipe that will, coming up in the future. I was with Joseph when he talked to some of the fire department firefighters, and him on the job well done. I think there was some really good discussion. I think we made it that way. Attended the National Night Out, which was great. I think some other was were there.
Yeah.
Good turnout. Appreciate everybody that put that on. And I guess this is my closing remarks too, right? Enjoy the weather. Good weather's coming.
Yeah. My regular committee meetings, had the Piedmont jail meeting today. We had 40 residents there last month, so we come down a little bit. Just regular meetings. Everyday stuff.
Is that just 40 from Amelia or?
40 from me.
And not necessarily the whole month. They're not necessarily 40 over the whole month, is it?
That's the average.
Okay.
Well, that's what, are you saying it's the average or it's the total number?
Total number from Amelia is 40.
Right, but I mean, a lot of them are there for just a couple days.
They don't break it down like that.
Right, I know.
It's
Okay. Some of them just the weekend pullers and stuff like that.
400 some people up there.
What, is that many?
Could have been a day. That's what
Yeah.
we usually do as of a certain day.
Could have been. I mean, it was 43 the month before that.
Yeah, sometime during the, at some period.
I
during the
would
month.
think that's saying what a lot.
We paid for that many,
I know.
whether it was one day or
I know.
31
That's why
days.
I was questioning
Yeah.
it. That's it.
That's what it cost us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any more? If I got anything,
Adjourn.
move to adjourn. Motion on the floor, folks. All in favor of adjournment, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Mr. Robinson, you can move away from the table.
Do you pay a whole month for each person? Or do you only pay the dates
We
days
pay
they
a-
use?